Hello everybody, how are we doing? Just making sure that you can hear and see me okay. I can see that I can see myself on YouTube okay. I'm hoping you can hear me and the sound is all okay. Welcome in. This is the Livestream Writing Club as we call it. Hi Jill. This is the Livestream Writing Club, as I call it, but we are basically a little community that hang out. It doesn't matter whether you're a writer, whether you're an artist, whether you're a reader, whether you're a crafter, whether you're just a lovely person who wants to come and hang out and make some friends. That's what we're here for. If you're watching this on demand later, thank you very much for watching on demand. It doesn't matter if you weren't able to make the live stream. I mean, I say it doesn't matter. I love it when people make the live stream because then we can have a chat and we can interact, but I understand everybody has a life and everybody has different commitments to work around, and so I totally get if you're catching up on this later, and hello and thank you for watching later. Hi Kelly, how's everyone doing? I hope you had a lovely holiday. I had the most amazing holiday, thank you. It was lovely. Do you know what? It just wasn't long enough. 7 days just doesn't feel long enough for a holiday, and I know that sounds like a very first world problem. But it just flies by, doesn't it? And I feel like by the time that you're fully relaxed and you're fully having a nice time and you're like, right, I'm ready now to really enjoy my holiday, it's like there's 1 day left and then it's time to go home again. And you're like, no. So yeah, I had a lovely time. How are you both doing? Have you had a good week? A good fortnight, actually. I shouldn't say have you had a good week, if you had a good fortnight. Just to say that the cat cam bed is empty, yet again. I have already tried the dreamy treat of shaking the bag of dreamies to try and get Stanley to come down. Whether he will come and see us or not, I don't actually know. Seems to be a little bit camera shy, which is annoying. Also, Tom, my husband, is not feeling very well. We're actually both just getting over a stomach flu. Tom, basically, if you've seen my latest video, you'll know this, but we went to Portugal for a week, came back, and then Tom had to get up at 6 a.m. to go to Birmingham. He went to Birmingham for like 2 days, came back, and on the way back from Birmingham, bless him, in the car on the M1, was really poorly. He had to stop a couple of times to be ill, and basically came home and had a stomach flu for Saturday and Sunday. And then Sunday afternoon, I started with the stomach flu, so that was lovely. So we're both just kind of getting over that, which means that Tom's currently in bed. He's kind of relaxing. He had the day off work because he still wasn't feeling... He kind of went into work yesterday, but then today had a bit of a dip again. Wasn't feeling too well. So basically the long and short of that is I don't think we'll see Stanley at all tonight because Stanley loves it when somebody's sick. He loves it when somebody's ill and they're in bed. Like he's like, oh my gosh, I've got friends to sleep with. And he'll just like lay on top of you for hours and hours on end. So we may not see him at all evening, but I will keep shaking the dreamies. Every time I have a writing thing and I go on silent, I will shake the dreamies and see if I can tempt him down. Sorry you've both been unwell, not nice, especially after a holiday. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I'm just grateful that I didn't get something like that while we were there or on the way back, because I did once have some kind of gastroenteritis or something like that on the way home from... We went to Portugal and then went to Seville for a few days, and I got it while we were in Seville. And let me tell you, travelling back on a plane when your stomach is not happy, let's just say, is horrible. So yeah. Hi Diana. Missed a lot of your holiday chat, but I'm here now. I was just saying that it was lovely. It was a really lovely holiday, and 7 days doesn't feel like long enough because by the time you've relaxed, you kind of then time to go home again. And I was just saying that we're just getting over a bit of a stomach flu in our house. So I'm not necessarily sure whether Stanley will come and join us on camera tonight because he loves it when somebody's poorly and he loves having somebody in bed to snuggle. Alyssa, welcome to the chat. Welcome to the live stream. Thank you very much for joining this evening. How are you? I'm going to be doing some writing tonight. Last time, I keep wanting to say last week, and it wasn't last week, it was the week before. Last time I did some sewing, and I'll be quite honest, it felt too chaotic. I did speak to... Was it Kelly? Did I speak to you, Kelly? Or no, I think it was Lainey, actually. I spoke to Lainey afterwards and I said that felt really chaotic. And she said, oh no, it didn't come across as chaotic. But I think what with trying to sew on my desk here, which is not the ideal space, it just all felt a bit too much. So I'm going to go back to writing. Also, I am part of a writing group. I think I've spoken about this before. It's called the Bronte Creative Writing Centre. It's run by Michael Stewart, who is an author, and I'm part of that group. I think there's about 7 or 8 of us in the group, and we meet once a month and we share our work with each other, and then we support each other with that. We kind of give feedback and this, that, and the other. I presented in February, I think it would have been February group, and my turn's come back around now for the May session, and I think is it the 11th of May, I want to say. Sorry, let me just have a look. 17th. So Sunday the 17th of May is when I've got my group, and so I need to crack on with the next bit of my novel, because they've read, I think they've read like 2 or 3 chapters, and I've written probably up to about 7 chapters now, but I really want to kind of like move on with that. So I'm going to be doing some writing this evening. What is everyone else going to be doing? What's everyone else going to be doing while we are on the live stream? Are you writing? Are you reading? I did toy with the idea of reading throughout the live stream, because I have got some books to read this month. If you watched my latest video, you will know that I am trying to read the entire shortlist of the Women's Prize for Fiction 2026, and also the other thing I completely forgot is that I need to do my 100 books over 100 years book this month as well, so that's fun. So I'm currently reading To the Lighthouse by Virginia Woolf, which is our 1928 book. I have read To the Lighthouse before, but it was a long time ago while I was doing my English degree, and I don't think I really enjoyed it at the time. I think I was too young probably to read it, but I'm about halfway through, so I need to finish that. So with all of the reading that I've got to do, I did actually sit here and think, should I actually just do some reading for 2 hours? But also I really want to present the next bit of my book at the group, so I'm just going to write tonight, and then I'll probably, when we finish up the live stream, I'll go and snuggle up in bed and read in bed. Jill's reading. What are you reading, Jill? Were you reading last time? And are you reading the same book as last time? I have a feeling we were discussing books last time. I will say now, my memory is not great, so I do apologise if I can't always recall things from the last stream. Diana's writing 2 steps forward, 1 step back. I understand that, Diana. And also trying not to get in your own head about it. That is the biggest hurdle with writing. Kelly, I'm working on an essay coursework that I need to submit on Friday. Oh, good luck. Was that the same thing you were working on a couple of weeks ago as well? Were you just about to start it then? Were you planning out the essay, from what I remember? You need to submit it on Friday. How far through are you? Are you quite like focused? Have you got it planned? Are you kind of on top of it? I was not that type of person. I think I've always been a bit of a person who works best with a deadline behind them, and so with all of my essays, and not so much my coursework actually, my coursework I was very, very organised with, but my kind of weekly essays at university, I would honestly leave them until like 2 hours before they were due. That's so bad. No, I wouldn't leave. Some of them I would leave until 2 hours before they were due, and some of them I would leave until like the day before. But I mean, it is quite hard when you're doing an English degree, because you've got to read like a 400-page book in a week and then write an essay on it, which is quite intense. Goth and Whimsy, hi. Thanks for joining. It's been a while since we've seen you in a stream. I know that I had to change the day from was it a Sunday or a Saturday we were doing initially, and then I changed it to the Tuesday evening. So it's lovely to see you. How are you doing? What have you been up to? How is your writing going? You're still reading Catherine by Essie Fox, really enjoying it. You've got 2 or 3 books on the go. Do you know, I never ever used to be a person who could read multiple books at once. I just never could, because I used to get so engrossed in a book and so kind of immersed in the world that there was no way I could ever read more than 1 book. And I have to say, just recently, I've found myself reading a couple of books at a time. So I'm actually reading The Magician by Raymond E. Feist. For the first time. I've never read any Feist before, but The Magician is Tom's favourite book, and he bought it for me for my birthday. I was like, I'd really love you to read this book that I love so much, and then we can talk about it. It's so cute. And so I'm halfway through that, and I'm kind of like reading bits of that, but then also because I've got to read other things for my content and for this, that and the other, I'm kind of having to dip in and out of The Magician and then read other things as well. I used to be like that, but trying to give myself more time these days. I've got a draft down, but need to edit or reference and sharpen up my argument. That's definitely the better way to be, Kelly. Honestly, the better way to be is to give yourself more time. And things percolate, don't they? Like, I do this all the time with emails. Like, I'll write an email out, leave it for an hour. Not all my emails, obviously, but like an important email. I'll write it out and then leave it and then come back to it again and review it, and I'll like change little things. So if you can do that with an email, then of course you're going to end up doing it with an essay as well. So it does makes more sense to do it that way. Currently packing up my house ahead of the move, hence being a bit absent. Oh, bless you. I was in the Lake District last week for my birthday. Came back feeling recalibrated and inspired. I love the Lake District. I absolutely love the Lake District. It's such a beautiful part of the world. The Lake District in North Yorkshire, just absolutely amazing. I love... has anyone been to the Dolby Forest in North Yorkshire? I am not kidding. You can walk into the Dolby Forest and there are parts where you genuinely think you've stepped into like a mythical fantasy realm. It's absolutely beautiful. And as for packing up the house for the move, I feel you. I mean, it must be 2 years since we moved in here, or 3? No, it must only be 2. Yeah, I think it's 2 years since we moved here. It doesn't feel like 2 minutes ago. I'm weird. I love moving house. I absolutely love moving house. So I love packing. I love a move day. I love unpacking. I love nesting. But I know that I'm a bit of a strange one that stands alone with that. Also, The Names by Florence Knapp. Is that one of the other books that you're reading? Also, The Names by Florence Knapp. I've not heard of that. What kind of genre is it? What type of book is it? First time. It's definitely inspired landscapes for my fantasy books. Yeah, I could totally imagine. I hear Scotland does that for a lot of people as well, and Ireland. You can totally understand why. Just kind of like the rugged landscape with very few people. It's not hard to be inspired, is it? I mean, I talked about this the last time we were on, but Caroline McQuiston, who is a content creator who lives on the Isle of Skye, her videos just, honestly, she is definitely the main character in her own story. She really is, because her stuff is just beautiful. And I just think, what an inspiring place to live. Just looks beautiful. I moved house so many times as a teen that I got a bit exhausted by it, but we've been here for pretty much my kids' whole childhood. There's a lot to sort through and it's proving emotional. Oh, I can imagine. Do you know, I moved an awful lot as a child. Up until I think maybe about the age of 8 or 9. So I moved a lot in the first 8 years of my life, and I think that's almost given me a bit of like itchy feet, because I swear I lived somewhere for like 4 or 5 years and I'm like, right, I'm ready to move. I'm ready for a new house now, which is not the best attitude to have, to be honest. But yeah, I can imagine if you've lived somewhere for a whole young person's childhood, you know, you're talking like 15, 16 years, aren't you, at least, then yeah, there's going to be an awful lot to sort through. Oh, sorry, that was a little hiccup. I'm trying not to be hard on myself about actively writing and jotting down notes for the outline. Honestly, you've got to write around your life. I know people will say, oh no, you should sit down every single day for an hour a day at least and write. It's so hard sometimes. And I think I've said this before, the biggest barrier with writing is your own mental game. Because I think, to be honest, and you know, I think sometimes that's why men can write a little bit easier than women, because I think their kind of mental load sometimes is a lot lighter, whereas women are, well, naturally we doubt ourselves as women. We're more self-conscious, we question ourselves a lot more. It's why there's a gender pay gap, for example. And I think that it's so easy to get wrapped up in self-doubt, in guilt, in I shoulds, rather than giving ourselves a space to be like, no, this is not happening. This moment in my life, I need to put things aside and I just need to be doing something else. So definitely do not be hard on yourself. I think jotting down notes is such a good idea. Either voice notes for yourself or just have like in your notes section in your phone, just writing things down as they come to you, because ideas do come in your brain at the most inappropriate times and then they are like wind, they just disappear. It's classed as literary fiction. Also, The Names by Florence Knapp. Is it? I'm not very good with literary fiction. well, I say I'm not very good. I like literary fiction. I just sometimes don't feel clever enough for it. I think sometimes I really struggle with it, and then I think that I'm not clever enough, and then I get in my own head. Completely agree. We take on so much more of the house and the family, etc. The mental tax is so much higher than our male counterparts. Exactly, exactly. Um, it is just after 1:15. Shall we get into the first writing session? I've got a new playlist for you all. So Melissa, my sister, who I don't actually think is here, ironically, tonight, she was saying last week that she really wanted a soundtrack inspired playlist, and so I did my best. So basically I get all my music off Epidemic Sound. I buy a license every month for their music. It's what I use for my music for my main videos and what I use for the live streams. So I went onto Epidemic Sound and I found some music that I thought was most like a soundtrack. So I thought we'd try that first. I have also got a bossa nova soundtrack, bossa nova playlist ready and waiting. So if we don't like the soundtrack, we can move over to the bossa nova. I've also still got the fantasy and still got the piano playlists. So maybe we'll do 20 minutes now. We'll put the soundtrack playlist on and you can all let me know what you think. Is that all right? Cool. Let's go for it. Right. How did that go for everybody? I had a pretty good session actually. Writing a little bit. I need to catch up with chat though, because I see that everybody. Kayla's here now. Hi, Kayla. You all know Kayla. She's Regency Rumours on YouTube. Has a wonderful channel, and she's working on her script at the moment, so she can do a month of fiction writing. Yeah, Kayla and I are both trying to write our novels and both doing YouTube at the same time, and it's great having a friend who is able to do that journey with me, and having each other to kind of support and lean on, especially when like we're self-doubting or we're just feeling overwhelmed with everything, is so important. So give Kayla some love. The names, right, Jill, I looked this up while we were on the break. It sounds amazing. A book where a woman gives birth to a son and she's in an abusive relationship. The abusive husband wants her to name the baby after him. She wants to name the baby something, and then her daughter wants the baby to have a name that she's come up with. And then the book follows this child as he grows up, but like has 3 parallel lives based on what his name could have been. So if depending on what his name was, it kind of imagines what his life might have been like. Amazing. It sounds like a very literary version of something like Sliding Doors with Gwyneth Paltrow. Yeah, sounds amazing. I'll definitely be getting that because I really like that kind of experimental fiction in that way. Mum and Melissa have joined. So, Melissa, do you prefer that playlist? What did you think? She said it sounded like Mission Impossible at one point, which is, I guess, good. It means that I found music that actually sounds like a soundtrack. Oh, sorry, I've got hiccups. I always get hiccups when I do videos or when I do live streams. I say always. I sometimes get hiccups because I don't breathe properly when I do these videos. I need to remember to breathe. Yeah, what did you think of that playlist, Melissa? Does it pass muster, and are you happy with it? And what did everybody else think? You know, what do you guys think? Do you like it? Do you want me to continue with that for the other writing sessions? Okay, Alyssa, enjoy your lunch. We are live streaming until 9 p.m. UK time. I don't know where you're based. So we'll be on for about another hour and a half. So hopefully we get to see you again. Summer, how are you doing? Author CM Summer. Now, do you know what? I'm going to write down people's names. Author CM Summerbrook, remind me of which name. Kate, that's it. Do you know, I'm going to write it down. There we go. I'm doing it because I really want to make sure that I am referring to people by the right names. So there you go. I've written it down. Kate. Yeah, how are you doing? How are you doing? How are things going? What are you working on this evening? Are you going to be doing some writing? Are you going to be doing some crafting? What are you going to be doing? It's a gripping book. Yeah, it sounds it, to be honest. It sounds really, really good. The names by, what was her name again? Sorry. Florence Knapp. So yeah, I'm definitely going to pick that up at some point. Or at least pop it on my, you know, like a mental to be read pile. So not on something that I'm going to maybe pick up immediately, but just something that'll percolate in the back of my mind as something that I might want to pick up if I see it at some point. Yeah, Stanley came in very briefly. He had some dreamies, and then as soon as the dreamies disappeared, he left. So at least we can say that he's been on stream. But I don't know if he'll come back, to be quite frank. I liked it. It was reasonably soothing. That's good. That's good. She, her, in case it ever comes up. Cool. Thank you. I'll write that down as well. I do like people to tell me if they have different pronouns. So if you do have any particular pronouns, anybody, let me know. Trap Saltonburn. Sorry, that's my Yorkshire accent coming out. Hi, welcome into the live stream. You're very, very welcome here. Do you have a preferred name that you'd like me to use, or I can just call you Trap? Traps? I don't really like trap. That's a Yorkshire thing because we get told to close your trap, as in shut your mouth, shut your trap. So I wouldn't want to call you that because for me that feels like I would be saying something rude. So Call me Raven. Lovely. Okay, I'm writing everybody's names down on a note so that I can remember next time because my memory is terrible. Is Raven. Do you have any preferred pronouns? Oh my gosh. Yes, the Supernatural fans have entered the chat. I absolutely love Supernatural. Are you Team Dean or Team Sam? Oh my god, I actually forgot his name then. Jeez. I love your accent, no apology needed. I do sometimes have to apologise for my Yorkshire accent. Dean girl, yeah. Yep, I'm Dean all the way. It's lunchtime here, so I'm just waiting for my son to go down for a nap and then I'll try to work on my third draft manuscript. Awesome. That's really good. Third draft. Is that like your third full draft? That's impressive. Really, really impressive. How far are you from completing then when you finish the third? Is that like the third and final, or will you do more drafts than 3? Do you know? Do you know at what point you feel like it gets to the point that it's almost ready? And do you have a plan for after it's ready? Have you got an agent and a publisher on board? I'm the older sibling and took care of my brothers. So you get it. You get the Dean life. I'm an older sibling as well. Not nowhere near to the extent of that Dean was kind of looking after Sam. But yeah, I think if you're an older sibling, you vibe with Dean for sure. Yeah, it is. Oh gosh, it's 1:45 nearly. We've got a minute by my clock until it's 1:45. So shall we do another 20 minutes in a minute? And we'll go into another 20-minute session and then we can have another chat. I'm very aware that last time I think we only ended up having like 3 writing sessions. This is something that I actually wanted to talk about. Like, let me know in the chat how many. Does it feel like if we put 4 writing sessions in, I am like condensing the chat time too much? Or do we actually really like having a good amount of writing sessions in there? Like, what do people prefer? Let me know. Let's go into the next session and let me know what you think in the chat, and then we can have another discussion about it when we get to the next chat session. So yeah, if you are writing, if you're reading, if you're crafting, if you're watching things, if you're making dinner, mum's having spag bol. So let me know what you're all up to and let's go into the next session. How are we doing? Sorry, just needed to clear my throat. And again, sorry, I hope that didn't break anybody's, if they're listening with headphones. Let me just take these out for a second. I use proper like plug-in headphones when I'm doing my live streams because it's just easier than using Bluetooth headphones because I can get quite a lot of lag in the way that it works. But I don't know, something about, I've been using overhead headphones, like over-ear headphones, and they're so much more comfortable. And now in-ear buds, just, I don't like wearing them for very long. How is everybody's sessions? How is everybody getting on? Yeah, how is everybody doing? Kelly, how is your essay going? Are you still working on it? And is everybody else writing? So I'm just looking back through the chat to remind myself of what everybody was getting on with. How are you reading, Jill? Yeah, I am. I said this at the very beginning of the live stream, but for people who've joined since, I am writing this evening. I'm working on my novel. I have got a group, my regular monthly writing group that I'm a part of. It's digital online writing group. We're meeting on the 17th of May and I'm presenting the next bit of my work. And so I am basically trying to get on with the next few chapters. So I'm on... What chapter am I on? Chapter 7. So I've written 6 chapters. I'm on chapter 7 at the moment. And I'm just writing out a scene where my main character's sister, little sister, has had her heart broken. And it's such a sad scene, and I'm writing it. I'm writing it in the first person from the perspective of my main character, and she's like kind of seeing her little sister have her heart broken, and all I can think of is if my little sister had her heart broken. And yeah, so I'm writing that scene at the moment, and yeah, so it's going quite well. There's a couple of lines that I've written and I've been like, oh, I quite like that line, and then there's other bits where I'm like, that feels a little bit clunky. I know I'm gonna have to come back and rewrite that, but it feels like it's good at keeping the kind of the momentum going. I'm trying to make sure that every chapter that I write is doing some, some kind of action in it that is moving the story forward, and this one definitely does, because while she gets her heart broken, it means something for my main character, and so it's very important is this scene in terms of like the overall plot of the story. And her sister becomes quite a main character, not the main character obviously, but becomes quite a pivotal character in the book as well after this point. So getting very little done, but I'm enjoying scrolling through my notes app and adjusting. Hey, do you know what? If this is a 2-hour space for you to have some time for yourself, to have some downtime, just have some chill time, then that's absolutely fine as well. Like that's what I say with this. Like anybody can come at any kind of mental load. You just come and hang out. Just come and hang out and let's have a nice evening. Never mentioned I'm working on a piece for an anthology I was accepted into. That's exciting. What kind of anthology is it? Is it fiction? Is it non-fiction? It'll be my first published piece. That's so great. I've heard a lot of advice saying that it's a really good way to get started in terms of like a published journey is to kind of write short stories or write small pieces that you're going to put into an anthology, enter writing competitions, that kind of thing. So that's excellent. Oh, you're welcome. You're very, very welcome. I'm glad that was helpful. If that's what you needed to, hear. Honestly, I'm here to help if I can. C playlist sounds like my RAF music. That's cute, Mum. Fiction trope subversion piece. Can't say too much yet, but I'm so excited. That sounds really interesting. Really interesting. Yeah. Well, hopefully, we get to hear more about it in the future. I'd love to hear more about it, Raven, as and when we are in these live streams. Just got to the part in Catherine where Heathcliff overhears Cathy saying she could never marry him to Nellie. Oh, the scene. The scene that changes it all. It reminds me very much, that scene reminds me a little bit of Atonement, the novel. Obviously not in the events and the way it happens, but just like the way that a single moment can completely change the future and the kind of the outcome of somebody's entire life. I loved Atonement. A very difficult book to read, I'm not going to lie. Ian McEwan I find a really difficult author to read. Although, to be fair, the last time I read it I was like 17, so maybe I should try him again now as an adult. I think I got Birdsong. I used to have Birdsong on my bookshelf, but I did get rid of loads of books when I moved. I don't know if I still got it now. Is it Ian McEwan or is it Sebastian Faulks? Oh God, is Birdsong Sebastian Faulks and Atonement is Ian McEwan? I'm getting authors completely mixed up. Getting them completely mixed up. Haven't read Atonement. It's a difficult read. I'm not gonna lie. It's not the easiest thing, but that's just my personal experience of having read it when I was like 17. Like I said, I would quite like to reread it now and see how I got on. The miscommunication trope done right. My screen is tilting to the right. Oh, gosh, I love that scene. It has never been adequately portrayed, though. Is that the scene? Yeah, Birdsong Ian Sebastian Faulks. I love that scene. It's never been adequately portrayed, though. Do you mean the scene in Atonement or the scene in Wuthering Heights? Because they're both excellent scenes, and yeah, very difficult to portray them. Yeah, interesting. I did have a couple of other things that I wanted to ask. So, first of all, what does everybody feel about the sessions, about having smaller chatty sessions and more writing? Or do you want more chatty sessions and fewer writing sessions? How do people feel about that? Can you let me know? And then I'm going to ask another question. Sebastian Faulks' Birdsong. Yeah, I realised in the middle of saying it that I was getting my authors mixed up. What other Ian McEwan books are there? I feel like I've definitely... not McKellen, McEwan. Oh, Nutshell. Mum will remember Nutshell. So back in was it like 2015, I think, maybe, I started a book club based in Huddersfield with some friends, and we read a number of different books. One of them was Nutshell by Ian McEwan, which I don't think I ended up actually reading, because I think by the time that book came up in the rounds, I think I'd already gone to France. So basically, I was running this book club, and then I moved to France temporarily, and so it carried on going. And I sometimes joined in, sometimes I didn't, depending on what was going on in France at the time. And they read Nutshell, and I remember everyone saying that it was just such a strange book. It's a book told from the perspective of an unborn child. Very weird. I don't think I've ever read any other Ian McEwan book, though. I think I've only ever read Atonement, actually. But it's funny, isn't it, how authors like Ian McEwan become such a household name, and then when you actually look at the number of books that they've written, there's not as many as you think. She says that. Clearly, I was not looking at the full list. I've just looked at the full list. There's a lot of books on there. No, I definitely think the only thing I've read is Atonement of his. Are there any others? Are there any others that you would recommend of his books? I've also never read Birdsong. I had it on my shelf for a long time, but I never actually got around to reading it. That's the kind of book that when I read the blurb on the back, I'm like, this sounds absolutely phenomenal. And then I've got an awful feeling that I've tried to start it a couple of times and always struggled. So, Mum's knitting a cardigan. That's cute. 5 to 6 years. Is this one for your knitting club, or are you doing it for somebody we know? Don't say the name of the person. If it's someone we know. Wuthering Heights. So it was Wuthering Heights, Diana. That was the scene you were thinking of. But Atonement is very much the same. Lost moments. Yeah. Those lost moments. Those kind of... Again, it's that sliding door moment, isn't it? Where your entire life can change on the drop of a penny. I had to read one for the GCSEs, but I couldn't tell you which one it was or what was in it exactly. I feel like these kind of books are so interchangeable in our minds. Sebastian Faulks is the one that is... Sorry, no. Birdsong is the one... Is that the one that's set in the war? Or is that his book called Charlotte Grey? Do you know what? maybe we should just stop having this conversation. I'm just going to embarrass myself, aren't I, with not being able to remember what anything is. Back from having some lunch and ready to write. Nice. Welcome back, Alyssa. I hope you had a lovely lunch. Are you in the US? I'm pretty bad at time differences, but I would assume if it's lunchtime, then you are maybe in the US, based on the time. What's it called? The time spaces. I'm having a real. You can tell that I'm still not quite myself. I watched Sliding Doors quite recently. I watched it quite recently as well. It's such a good film. I read Paris Echoes by Sebastian Faulks. Very good. I haven't read that one. Let's have a look at Sebastian Faulks. Oh, he's got an interesting face. Very characterful. I like people with interesting faces. Type of face that makes you want to describe it in a book. Other novels. Yeah, Birdsong and Charlotte Gray. Those are the two books that I always get mixed up. And I think, yeah, it's because they're a loose trilogy of books about France. And I think they're all kind of set around the Second World War, are they? Yeah, it's a war novel and family saga. Yeah. That's why I get them both mixed up. So there's The Girl at the Lion Door, there's Birdsong and Charlotte Gray, and those three are kind of the French trilogy, as they're called. And then there's lots of others. A Trick of the Light. I've definitely heard of A Trick of the Light. A Week in December. I've heard of that. In fact, I forgot that. I've got an awful feeling I've got A Week in December. Paris Echo. Interesting. Oh, I love looking at books. I love talking about them. In Canada. Oh, Alyssa, you're in one of my dream countries. I would love to visit Canada. Tom and I actually looked at moving to Canada at one point, and I don't know if I've ever told this story. Accidentally applied to immigration. No, we didn't actually accidentally apply. Tom was looking online at like what the requirements were for Canadian immigration to be able to move to Canada, to get like a work visa, and without realise, I don't know how he quite didn't realise, but he was putting some kind of information in to like see if he was eligible, and somehow managed to complete like the first step of immigration application, and got a phone call the next day from Canadian immigration and was like, well, you've been pre-approved, you've both got very desirable skills, you don't even need to have a sponsor, you can move to Canada. We were both like, we were just talking about it, we were just having a bit of a chat. So funny. But it's good to know that, mind you, that was like back in 2019, so goodness knows I don't think it'd be the same now. So it's 1:16 in the afternoon. Lovely. What, Alberta? Oh, I don't know. I can't picture where Alberta is on the Canadian map. Is that east or west side of Canada? Or south? There's not much in the north, is there? Alberta. I'm going to have a look. I feel like I'm constantly going on the internet in this. No, that's not what I wanted to put into Google Maps. Alberta. Oh, my internet is slow this evening. Oh, okay. So, between British Columbia and, I'm going to butcher this, Saskatchewan? Is that right? Oh, I feel like I've absolutely butchered that. What a beautiful place to live. Oh, how amazing. How amazing. West Side, yeah. Crazy book. Yeah. Yeah, that's Mum's response to the Ian McEwan book that I was mentioning. It looks like there's a little bit of a lag in chat, I think, so sorry about that. Yeah, it must just be absolutely beautiful to live somewhere like that. I think when we were looking, Tom was looking in British Columbia, I think there was some kind of job that he'd seen at a university in British Columbia, because he works in research. He's a research engineer, and he works at a university. and would want to do that, would want to continue to be a research engineer at a university, wherever. So yeah, absolutely incredible. Do we when did we finish the last 20-minute session? We started it at 1:45, didn't we? So we finished at 5 past. So actually we should probably get on to the last 20-minute session, shouldn't we? Nobody's really answered me about whether you want 3 sessions off or sessions. So I think we'll just do it stream by stream. I think we'll do it as the vibe feels. I feel like quite a few people are quite focused tonight, either doing writing or reading or studying and this, that and the other. And I'm quite keen to keep moving on with the scene that I'm writing. So if everyone is happy, we will go into the final session, the final writing session. Is it the final writing session or is it the third session? This will be the third session, so we are only going to get 3 sessions done. Do you know what? I am going to create some scenes on my OBS. So basically, when you see me moving between the writing session and the chatting session, you might notice that the picture kind of like fades in from one to the other. It's a scene that I set up. So when we start the stream and it says starting soon, that's a scene. I then click into my just chatting scene, which is this one that we're in now where we just talk. Then I've got a 20-minute. What I might do is I might create sessions for each, like numbered sessions. So session 1, session 2, session 3, session 4. And then I can basically do the scenes as we would do for a stream and work through those. Sorry, I'm thinking out loud, which probably nobody cares. But this is what I'm thinking. That I would, yeah, and that'll help me to keep on top of how many sessions we've had. Because I don't want anyone to feel like they're getting too much or too little, basically. Time zones. Thanks, Raven. Time zones is what I was thinking. Yep. I promise I'm a clever person. I don't know if I am. I don't know if I am, to be honest. Sometimes the brain just does not work, does it? For a little girl who came to the stall in the hospital has now asked for 3 different cardigans. Oh, that's so cute. So you've got a little girl asking you to make her a cardigan. That is absolutely adorable. That is so sweet. Oh, little people are so cute, aren't they? Right, let's get into the session. Let's get into what will be the last writing session for tonight. And then we can have a good kind of like 10-minute chat before the end of the stream, because I do have some actual questions to ask. In fact, what I might do is I might put one up as a poll now, and then you can answer the poll while we're in the last session, and then I'll ask the other one. And don't forget, you can like the stream. I don't know if you can hype it. I don't really know how hyping works that much. You can do a super chat, but that's like, no, just liking the stream is really, really helpful. So if you don't mind liking it and clicking the hearts or clicking some kind of reaction would be great as well. Yeah, let's go into the last session. Right, how did we all get on? I didn't actually physically write any much more. I think I did maybe about 10 lines in that final session, but it's quite an interesting scene. I find dialogue scenes a lot slower to write in terms of pace. Let me take these out again. Yeah, I find dialogue scenes a lot slower to write in pace than like descriptive scenes. So like I had a scene where the main character was travelling from her home to the local town, and I found that really easy to describe, and like describing the place, like describing the inn that she lives in, etc. I found that quite easy. But then this scene where she's having this conversation about her sister's heartbreak, and her sister's very, very upset, and she's trying to kind of like coax the information out of her. I find that quite hard because I'm trying to balance the reality of a conversation with the kind of pace of how I'm describing the scene in front of me. So, like, I don't want the sister to answer the questions too quickly because she's supposed to be heartbroken. And in reality, in a situation like that, it might take you a good few minutes to come around, to stop crying, etc. So I've got to think about that, but then I don't want it to be like so long that people are like, oh God, just get to what's happening already. You know what I mean? So I'm finding that quite interesting at the moment. So I just need to have some squash. I just realised, other than having a few sips of cold coffee, I haven't drunk anything in the last 2 hours. I know on some streams they have things like hydration check. I think you do that mostly on Twitch, not on YouTube. But people can like redeem things like that with points and things. I feel like I would need a hydration check quite regularly. Let's have a look at the poll. So mostly people are saying guest streamers would be good. Now I can't promise that that will happen simply because I haven't approached anybody yet. And I'm not quite sure how it would happen because I think someone would have to log on. I don't know if they'd have to log on to my YouTube to be able to stream as me, or whether we could do like a collaboration live where they are live but it shows up on my channel. Or maybe the easier way to do is to have 3 people set up and then I just point you to their channel. That's probably easier, isn't it? I'm kind of thinking it through as we're talking here. That's probably a lot easier, is that I just set them in on those weeks at those times and then I just point you towards their channels. So yeah, if you've got any suggestions of kind of writing streamers or writing YouTube creators, or if you'd like to do one yourself, let me know, get in touch, and I can look into it. Because I think that'd be really nice actually to get some guest streams booked in. I read somewhere that you should show examples of how that conversation would go rather than have the convoluted conversations that would be more realistic, as in show a couple of examples of the needed need to repeat the question but keep it consolidated to keep the pace up. That's a really good suggestion actually. So yeah, I don't know, like I won't be above kind of reading out some bits at some point in a live stream to see what you think, and to share bits at some point. Like I am saying things like my mind's going to the worst possible place, thinking of what could have possibly happened, and then I say, I gently push her shoulders and she allows me to softly turn her small frame over in the bed. I sweep damp fair hair from her face and look down at pure heartbreak. Whatever has happened, the marks of it will live on her face for a long time, I'm certain. So things like that, like describing her in the bed, because she's come back to the house and she's gone to, like, basically gone and got into bed. Not got into bed, but she's like thrown herself on the bed. I don't know if that's too cliche, like running home and throwing yourself into a bed, like Is that too cliche? Would it have happened? She's supposed to be like, she's not only supposed to be young, like, so I think I've got her at like 1920, which, to be fair, back then wouldn't have been like super young. Like super young would have been like 15, 16. But I want her to be very young in her she's almost been very sheltered because she's a very younger sister. Not, please Melissa, don't think that I'm saying that you're sheltered. This is not, there's no reflection of real life in these two main characters. I'm actually thinking in my mind when I'm writing it a little bit more like a Marianne and Eleanor kind of sistership type thing. You know, the fact that that's my chair. That is my chair. That's not me. I promise you that's not me making rude noises. That is my chair. I am going to get a new chair very soon, by the way. I haven't ordered it, but I've seen the chair that I want, so I'm going to get a new chair very soon. Yeah, that's the kind of, the whole kind of the seriousness of Eleanor, the kind of, not, I mean, I'm not mirroring them on them. There's not going to be the same kind of like, not inability to like show her emotions that Eleanor has compared to Marianne, but that kind of sense of the older sister being more stoic and kind of more able to take on responsibility, and then a sheltered younger sister. But in this case, I want my younger sister to be, I want Sarah, the younger sister character, to be quite childlike. I want her to be innocent because that's going to lead into what happens to her in the book. So yeah, I've not really done exactly what you're suggesting there, but maybe I'll think about that. Definitely. Let me write that down somewhere. Show examples of how the conversation go rather than have the convoluted conversation. Show a couple of examples of the need to repeat the question. Actual repeating. Yeah, so she would be on the bed, and it would take at least my main character asking 2 or 3 times for her to actually get a response, let alone get details of what's happening. Whereas I'm going, Sarah, you alright, love? What's going on? So yeah, no, you're very right there. That's a very, very good point. I'm going to move that little point up to the bottom of that section. Sometimes I think as well, you do need to almost write these scenes out really long, don't you, in the full kind of conversation, and then you can really kind of sponge it, if you know what I mean. You kind of soak up all of the bits that you don't need to put in anymore and kind of condense it down. So, yes. What was I going to say? I was just literally just about to say something. No. It's gone. It's completely gone from my mind. Discord. That was it. Kate was on earlier and she was asking about, well, she wasn't asking in this stream, but she'd asked in previous streams about setting up a Discord server. So I have a Discord server at the moment. I haven't shared any information about it, and I haven't properly fully set it up yet, I don't think. But is a Discord server something that people would be interested in? Somewhere that we can kind of chat, share our projects a little bit more. I can share little snippets of writing like this where you can feed back on something, and you can do the same. If you want to share what you're working on, we can share book recommendations, we can share anything. Like, let me know if that's something that you'd be interested in. Raven likes the sound of that. That'd be great. Kate had said that she would support with modding on that as well. I don't really know a lot about modding, except that I know that it's good to have mods. Mods are moderators, by the way, just to keep an eye on the content. So obviously we want to keep it family friendly. We want it to keep it as a inclusive, welcoming, open space. So, okay, Jill likes the idea of Discord as well. Awesome. Right. Well, I'll properly look into it. I've told Kate that I will look into it this week. So like I say, it is set up. I just need to look into what, if I need to do any setting stuff, etc. And then maybe I will share the link to it next week, in next week's stream. We are back to streaming completely every week for the next, I think, 5 weeks until May, when we are having a 3-week break. We'll be doing, yeah, 1, 2, so not including this week, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah. So the 5 live streams, and then there's going to be a 3-week break of June. So number of different things happening at the beginning of June that just mean I just couldn't do it. So I just thought it'd be easier to just book things in that we have to do in that time period, have a bit of a break in streaming, and then come back to it. So yeah, hopefully that's all right. And like I said, I'll look into the guest stream. Yeah, I feel like we finished a bit earlier. I feel like I'm coming to kind of a natural finish point a little bit earlier this evening. But I think that's because we've done the 3 writing sessions rather than 4. It does feel like it's been a little bit chattier again, which I'm absolutely fine with. As long as you are all fine with having quite a chatty stream. I mean, that's the point, isn't it? I mean, I could just do Pomodoro sessions if I didn't want to talk. So, am I going to Hood Lit Fest? Do you know what? I would really like to go to some of the Lit Fest events. It starts soon, doesn't it? So, Hood Lit Fest, for those who don't know, is Huddersfield Literature Festival. I was their marketing manager for 3 festivals, and loved being the marketing manager of their literature festival. And so it's got a very, very warm place in my heart. And actually, will this be the first year that I haven't worked on it? No. Did I not work on it in 2025? Oh gosh, do you know, it's so hard to remember things off the top of my head. But yeah, I want to go to some things. You're going to see Ardal O'Hanlon with his new book. Do you know what? That's the one person I haven't actually been that interested to see. Sorry, that's awful, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, I like Father Ted, but I haven't actually seen him in other stuff. What else is going on? Have a look, by the way, guys. It's hoodlitfest.org.uk. Let me put the hoodlitfest.org.uk. That's their URL. Have a look. There are some things going on online. I don't know if Alyssa is still on the stream, but there are some online events happening, so you can join from Canada if you want to. There were definitely a couple of things that I was really interested in. Let's have a quick look. The Polari event is always excellent, celebrating LGBTQ plus writing talent. Unfortunately, I can't do the Friday the 8th of May. Otherwise, I would go to that, but that sounds really good. I really want to see the film 3000 Lesbians Go to York, which is on Saturday the 9th of May. That looks amazing, amazing. The York Lesbian Arts Festival is presenting this. I think it's a film. Is it online? Where is it happening? Oh no, it's happening at Amped on Zetland Street from 11 till 1 on Saturday the 9th of May. Just sounds absolutely brilliant. So I think I'm going to go to that. If Lainey, if you're interested in that, could always have a coffee before or after. Then what else is there? Michael Stewart, actually. So Michael Stewart runs my... Val McDermid's going to be there. Yeah, one of the big names. Michael Stewart is the person who runs the writing group that I'm part of, and he's doing an event called Emily Bronte Reappraised on the 9th of May. I think We Came by Sea, the event with... What is the writer called? Horatio Clare? Is that his name? Yeah. Horatio Clare, We Came by the Sea. That sounds like a good event. What else have we got going on? Oh, there's a good workshop actually, if anyone's local. Rachel Hardcastle is doing a Conquer the Blank Page, a 2-hour idea generation workshop and writing session. That sounds really good. That's on Sunday the 10th of May. Again, I can't make that, but it would be a really cool event for people to go to. I have seen an event with Rachel Hardcastle. She did a speaking event where she was talking about self-publishing her books. Really, really great writer. So that'd be interesting. What else is there? Vince Cable, I'm not really that interested in that, but I know it will be interesting for some. Four best-selling women writers talk all things novel writing, from midlife wives to midwives. That sounds interesting. Tuesday the 12th of May, 6:30 to 8. Tracy Bloom, Tilly Tennant, Julie Houston and Anna Stewart. Julie Houston I met. Julie Houston was selling her books, promoting her books at my old gym. So I used to go to a gym called Big Box in Huddersfield, and Julie Houston was promoting her books in the foyer of Big Box Gym. And I got chatting to her, because when you're a writer in the Huddersfield area, you do talk to other writers. And she was lovely. So I might go to that as well. That's at Kirkburton Library as well. So that'd be cool. That's Tuesday the 12th. Oh, it's Tuesday evening. Tuesday the 12th of May. I can't go because we're live streaming. Right, well, I can't go to that because we're live streaming. I mean, I would live stream from the event, but that's not really very fair. Yeah, anyway, it's 9 o'clock. I'm going to have a look through at everything that is going on. Oh, the Radical Georgian Women Writers event is sold out. Unsurprising, though, because that does sound absolutely excellent. Who's doing that? Mary Lister. Yeah, there's lots to look at hoodlitfest.org.uk, so do consider going along or joining some of the events online if you can. I am gonna be having a look, Lainey, so maybe we can have a chat on Instagram about what you might be going to see, what I might be going to see. It'd be lovely to meet up for a coffee. And yeah, thank you everybody for joining the live stream. Again, if you can like the stream, that's huge benefit. I do have a YouTube members area now, which is for lovely members like Lainey and Kelly, who are my members and who get some bonus content, behind the scenes stuff, but no pressure. A subscription and just you coming here every week to join the live stream is huge, and I love it so much. I love having these conversations. I really enjoy live streaming every week. So thank you again for joining, and have a wonderful week. We'll be back again next Tuesday, and yeah, I'll have some more information about the Discord for sure. I may have some more information about guest streamers. Again, if there are any streamers or any content creators or any book people that you think would be really great, that you think might be interested in doing some live streams, or if you would be interested in hosting a live stream, let me know. And thank you everybody for coming. Thanks, Kelly. Thank you everybody. Lovely to see you as well. I'll see you all next week. Right, I'm going to be going. Okay, bye guys.